What's going on, everybody? It's Tone back with another video. In this video I would show y'all, teach y'all how to skip trace. What is skip tracing? Skip tracing is basically when you gotta find the owner. When you have to find the owner that owns the home, the deal, whatever. Let's say you got a deal, right? Now you gotta find these owners. You gotta get in contact with them, see if they're willing to sell, and then obviously negotiate. But first things first is you have to get in contact with them. It's easy to find, who owns a home, what their name is, and after that though you gotta skip trace them. So it's a couple ways that you can do it. It just depends on how many files you have. Let's say you drove for dollars and you got like 10 properties that you wrote down. Now you look up the properties, now you know what you're looking at, and now you got to find a homeowner and get in contact with them. So a couple things that you have to do, or that I do, for example, I literally just did this yesterday all day. If you go to your GIS wherever you live at, you can type in whatever county and then put property assessor cards. So I was looking at Indianapolis, I put Marion County property assessor cards, and basically it'll show you to this page where it'll give you like 4 different options. You can look for the state ID number, the parcel number, but I don't even know what that is. So at the very last option it should be searched by property address. So I just type the property address and then it'll show you who the owner is of the home. That way when you're looking at skip trace the address, you will know what name you're looking for, because there's a couple other ways that you can do it, but that is the most effective way, because now you're actually getting this from county records. You know what I mean? Let's say I got Joe Smith as the name of who owns that property. Now all I gotta do, if it's a couple files, I go to True People Search, which is free. It's a free search engine where you can just find people who live in a certain city with that name. It'll give you their age sometimes, and it'll give you a couple other information. But basically, if I see that Joe Smith, if I'm looking at this property at 123 Main Street, and I see that Joe Smith owns the house, when I go to the property assessor cards, I go to True People Search, and I can either do 2 different things. I can either look up his name, and in that city, if I put Joe Smith in Indianapolis, it'll give you the options that it has of how many Joe Smiths and the age, and it'll give you a number. It'll also give you how long they've been living either in that property or in other properties or wherever they've lived. But it'll just give you basically just some information and a couple phone numbers, however many. Another way that you can do it, if you go to True People Search, it has a thing called reverse address. So like I said, if the address is 123 Main Street, you just type in that address in the city, and it'll bring out people who've lived there or own the property or whatever in that way. But that one, it doesn't give you it could give you 4 or 5 different names, but it don't tell you which who owns the house. That's why I like to do the property assessor, because it'll tell me who owns the house. But yeah, I just keep doing the same thing. I write down the names on the notebook, I write down the address, the names, and then after that phone numbers. But let's say you bought a whole bunch of absentee records from ListSource. I got like over 100, over 2, 3, 4, 5, well, however many hundreds of files of absentee homes. Now I need to skip trace that whole list. If I got 500 records, I got to skip trace that whole list of 500 records. Once you use ListSource, it'll just give you the name of the people who own the home and the property addresses, and then where they live, but it doesn't give you a phone number. So what you need to do is, like I said, you need to skip trace. For those bigger amounts of files and records, what I like to do is go to Need to Skip, which is a website that'll skip trace and give you phone numbers to all of those people and those property addresses and all that. So what I do is I take that file that I have from ListSource, I upload it. I go to needtoskip.com, or there's another website called reiskip.com. There's plenty of websites that can skip trace. I use Need to Skip personally. I upload the file, and then from there it'll bring back all the numbers of every single person of the file that I had uploaded. It'll bring back all the numbers, their phone numbers. Then after that you call them, and you just see if they're willing to sell or not, and then just talk to them, negotiate, which I got another video on. Just look it up. But yeah, so that's what skip tracing is. That's how I skip trace, and that's how I get in contact with them. You can also, what I do after that is I cold call, but you can also send postcards, you can also send yellow letters. Those are different strategies that you can use. Those are all marketing. Cold calling, that's marketing. Everything that you do to reach out to people and find leads is marketing. But at the end of the day, you just want to get yourself out there as much as you can. If you call and you can't get a hold of them, then send postcards, send yellow cards, whatever it is, you just got to get the job done as an entrepreneur, as an investor. In this stage, when you're doing it on your own like I am, you just got to figure it out and do everything in your power to get a hold of these people. If you can't get a hold of them through a phone number, or it's a little bit harder for you to get a hold of them, the chances are greater on your side, because that means, you know, other people probably have encountered, other investors have probably encountered that same problem where they can't get a hold of them, and they might give up after 1 or 2 tries. But if you keep going and keep finding ways to get in contact with them, one day you might get that call back from them or an email or whatever it is, and you know, might be willing to sell. And that's SkipTracing. Stay tuned. I hope you guys are taking this and learning this and applying it to your life, using this in whatever you're doing with real estate investing. Stay tuned. Don't blink or you'll miss it, man. I'm gonna keep bringing out value. Hope y'all like it. Let me know what y'all think. Like, subscribe, share, show some love. I appreciate y'all.